So Philip, what
Well,
today? Day 3?
Today was a Blackmagic afternoon.
Right.
I had a look at their stand,
That old Blackmagic.
and it is probably the most impressive stand of the whole show. These guys, as I said in my own roundup for HD Warrior, these guys are professionals from top to tail. Marketing, these guys they just know how to make things. They're slick, even down to the fact that they gave me a brochure and a bag. The brochure had everything in it. It's not something done at soandso.com.
Yeah,
It is.
Their brochure looks like the people from Vogue got involved or something like that. It's really.
They're, it's like their stuff. It
Yeah.
looks good, but it's not megabucks.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm afraid the chaps over in Japan have never actually got the message that we're not all we don't have loads of money.
Yeah.
So stop selling us stuff that we can't afford.
I must admit, I'm quite relieved they haven't launched any new cameras this time, because I finally got myself a pocket camera at the weekend to have a good play with. I'm just glad that it's going to be current for a while, so I can get to know it properly before
Even though your highlights might be black.
That's something, apparently they've sorted that out.
Oh, have they?
The camera may have to go back to fix that one.
Right,
that's,
okay.
That's an issue which is being worked on. And so that is, it's not really highlights, as if you pointed at the sun, which is a fairly extreme shot.
Is it only the sun?
That's some very, very, certainly brighter than most light sources. So I've only ever seen it on pointing a camera directly at the sun. And coming from a tube camera background, which is giving away my age, pointing a camera at the sun is something you never ever do anyway.
Yes, no, I would never. Even with today's technology, I still wouldn't like to do. I've done it, but not in a. It's been behind the clouds.
Yeah. No, it's a dangerous thing. But what in particular at Blackmagic took your fancy?
Well, I just wanted to have a wee look at how they were presenting the cameras, because obviously, the stupidity of putting it with a Cook lens, which is like, it's that size, and you think,
True.
What's the point? Nobody's going to use it that way. Yeah. At least I would like to think they would. If they're going to use that lens, please don't use it in that camera.
They're emphasising its cinema credentials, and by putting it on a lens which is this, but you're absolutely right. I mean, I've got a little Voigtlander, which I bought from you, in fact, at 0.95, 25mm, and that works beautifully on it. It's about this long. But even better would be the lens you've got on your GH3, your 12 to 30.
12 to 35, f2.8.
F2.8 with an optical image stabilizer built in, and it's that on such a small camera. It's quite hard to hold steady. So
I would say that's the perfect lens for that camera.
Me too. Yeah.
And the other lens that they do is I think it's the 75 to 100, which effectively is like.
With the crop factor?
35 to 100.
Right.
So f2.8. So with those two lenses, you're covering the whole spectrum.
That's very true. And with the crop factor is about 3 times crop factor in the camera. So that lens would be good for some serious wildlife documentary
making. Very much so.
Quite interesting. Has that got image stabilization too?
I would be lying to say yes, because I don't know.
Right. They've updated their HyperDeck Studio range. I don't know if you saw this, but now they're able to record proxy file. Well, they've always been able to do ProRes, but only at 220 megabits a second.
All right.
So you only get about 5 hours on a 500 gig drive. But with the new codecs, you'll be able to extend that to 20 hours, 30 hours, and there's even a proxy format, so you can get tons of time on the same drives if you're not so bothered about
They've really worked on that, because a friend of mine bought that early doors and was quite disappointed when they brought out the new version, and it could do so much more. But this company is just they're every
they
time
do move rather fast.
If you blink, they bring out something new. I was very impressed by the 4K encoder.
Right.
And the price is unreal. You think
the 4K, the 4K studio, the production
studio,
studio,
yes, that's right, yes.
And now, of course, at the show they've announced the 8-1, the new 4K version of that. Which will have 10 inputs, which is astonishing. We're actually using an 8-1 mixer in the studio here, switching, using a laptop interface.
So, I went back to just double check on that Panasonic. Remember I told you about the tablet?
Oh right, yeah.
And
the one which my arms aren't long enough for.
Yes, it's quite heavy. It's not, you wouldn't want to walk about with it because it's very weighty, but I couldn't still, I took a photograph, so I thought, I'm going to show this to people out in the blog world and say, look what you can buy, but I still couldn't, nobody would tell me what the price is, so.
Ah, right, the 4K Panasonic tablet, yes. Yeah, that's definitely, I can see that's on your Christmas list. But did you say, have a look at the 270 while you were there, the Panasonic 270?
I did, yes. Once again, I'm glad to say it's well designed, it actually looks nice. Micro P2, I'm glad to see, because once again...
It's got 2 micro P2 slots and 1 P2 slot.
That's right.
And you'll be able to record into 2 different codecs. And it's also the first camcorder with the new ABC long drop format, so you'll be able to get 422 footage at 25 megabits. Absolutely astonishing
and
quality.
it's also about 10-bit, this camera.
That's right. Yeah.
10-bit, you know what I mean? If you think about the AF101, if you remember, we were all crying out for 10-bit.
Yeah.
And
it's got it now. The AF101A has.
Like it's updated, but I'm just saying when we first had it.
Yeah, of course.
Everybody was saying, "Oh, please, can we have?" And now Panasonic just bring it out as part of the deal.
Yeah.
It's it was a big deal 2 or 3 years ago, but now it's for us. But now it's just, if it doesn't have 10-bit, do we buy it?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think 10-bit is particularly important if you're grading, if you're heavily grading.
Yes.
Which brings us back to Blackmagic, of course, and DaVinci Resolve, which is version 10. Did you have a look at version 10? I believe it's going to public beta now, so everybody can play with it for free, which is quite a unique
it's
proposition.
funny you should say that, because I was speaking to somebody who is an EDIUS chap.
Yeah.
And I did actually say to the girl, is it EDIUS or EDIUS? She said it's EDIUS. I actually said it wrong.
Yes.
But the guy said that there is nothing that EDIUS can do that Resolve can do. But you have to dig deeper into EDIUS to make it happen.
Yeah, I love EDIUS. It's my favourite program for editing. It's faster than anything else. You can mix whatever formats on the timeline. It's got excellent scaling for HD to SD, and you can make Blu-rays and DVDs straight off a timeline or export to Vimeo. You can even export back to an SD card that will play in your Panasonic telly. However, I also love DaVinci. Now, DaVinci's got tracking, which EDIUS hasn't got. It's got the ability to track a face incredibly quickly and incredibly accurately in order to put a colour grade on somebody's face, so no matter what it moves, it automatically tracks. You can't do that in EDIUS. And also the complexity that you can get into. I think it's a mute argument in a way, or a pointless argument about DaVinci, because it's free. There's a free version which will even output through Blackmagic cards, like EDIUS. Now you can output through Blackmagic cards, so you can have both on the same system. And the DaVinci hasn't cost you anything.
To go back to Blackmagic, that is the two things I really like about Blackmagic is forward thinking as far as editing is concerned. I was struggling with Final Cut Pro 10. Why? Because I couldn't ingest SD footage. Because they've decided if you've got anything other than card, you're not the game's a bogey. And it wasn't until I went to Blackmagic till I discovered that they had, now you'll need to remind me what it's called again, I always forget its name. The software that comes with it, which is...
With DaVinci Resolve?
No,
Resolve.
Blackmagic's...
something
Express, is it?
Yeah, Media Express.
Media Express. That is just the best piece of software. I did a job recently for the BBC Scotland, and I had archive footage which needed to come off Beta SP.
Yeah.
Now, I fortunately had a friend that had Beta SP machine, because nobody I know has got Beta SP.
Yeah.
And he put it onto mini DV cam, and we then brought it in via the edit suite, via the Blackmagic box of tricks.
Right.
And I couldn't have done it had I not had that software. So once again, Blackmagic are just so ahead. I keep talking about them, but I own the equipment, and I own it because it's good.
There's also the synergy now between Blackmagic and EDIUS means now EDIUS version 7 supports 4K so well. You can play through the Blackmagic 4K Extreme. You can play your footage back onto 4K monitors real time from the timeline of EDIUS. So it gives you some 4K features which nothing else has got.
Yeah.
But you'd have the ability to mix 4K, 2K, SD. You would even rip the video off a DVD or a Blu-ray and put that on the timeline, mix all this footage together and play it out in real time, which is astonishing.
It's absolutely stunning.
So yeah, I'm a big fan of Eddie, so I have been for years. At last we've got a new version to play with. We're going to talk about some data video stuff in a short time, so if we'll just go to a small break while we set up somebody else on the couch. I've got Nigel Cliff coming in to talk about some data video things, new released at IBC this year. So if we could go to a break. That would be good.
Welcome to IBC 2013. Now over the next 4 days I'm going to be walking the show floor, interviewing people, finding out what's new this year at IBC, and we'll be putting those videos up on our website broadcastshow.com. So if you're watching this and you see a load of videos below me, make sure tomorrow you refresh the page, because tomorrow there will be more, and that's going to continue over the next 4 days. Also every morning at 10 a.m. European time, 9 a.m. UK time, I will be presenting a live 2-hour show from the Teradek booth here at IBC 2013, where we will be having guests on throughout those 2 hours, again talking about all the new releases and announcements here at IBC 2013. So make sure you stay tuned to broadcastshow.com. Some you've seen, some people you've seen, some people you haven't. They will be up on our website as well, which is of course broadcastshow.com, and our YouTube channel, which is TV Bay Broadcast Show.
One of the neat things with virtual placement is that I can bring a live video feed and bring it into the system, and right away start putting virtual placement in there.
Absolutely. This is the brand new 1ME production studio 4K.
And the cool stuff is as well, at any given time, if I do this, boom, I get the magazine.
It's only day one.
Thanks for sticking with us. We're now joined by Nigel Cliff, who's actually one of my colleagues from Holden, but he's spent the last few days on the data video stand here at IBC. And Nigel's going to tell us something about the new products which Data Video has introduced at IBC. So I understand there's a smorgasbord of new toys from Data Video.
There are quite a number of new products, yes, Richard. One of the highlights, I think, is the new Chroma Key standalone unit called the DVK300.
This is the rack mount unit.
It's a rack mount unit. It's HD. It's something that we've been lacking in the range from Data Video. And the good thing about it is it's a standalone unit, so it can be used with other equipment. But obviously, we'll be pushing it forward with the mobile studios, which have not had Chroma Key available in them on the downstream key, so it sort of complements the HS range of mobile studios.
I had a little play with it on the stand, and the thing that struck me was A, the quality of the key was exceptionally good.
Yes.
But B, it was fairly easy. I mean, there's a software interface.
It's very easy. There's a software interface, and I've had a good play with the interface, the control panel surface, and it's really easy to use, and you can get real nice crisp keying there. It's really great for the price.
So where do you see a real-time Chroma Key box like that fitting into the market? Why would you want to do real-time Chroma Key?
You could maybe use it in a mobile application. So you'd have your camera, you could feed some background into there. You could go through one of the mixers integrated with other footage or whatever, and you could stream it onto the internet. So I think it's a great tool for a mobile application as well as in the studio, built in the rack system in the studio.
It's interesting. I've seen quite a few of these systems now at sort of at theme parks, so you can sort of join in the action behind you. It does seem to be something. And then there was one particular firm I saw recently, and they were sending the pictures to your phone. So you sit there while an alien spaceship comes crashing in behind you, there's huge explosions, and then 2 seconds later you've got it on your phone as a video which you can show to your friends.
Well, that's right, and some people say that I'm from outer space anyway, in actual fact, so yes, we've built that into
So everything from weather forecasts to alien invasions.
Absolutely, that's right. It's particularly interesting in the education market as well, because obviously video being used in education is a great pull for the students, and particularly young students. And the chroma key is an exciting product for them. So I see that as a very big marketplace as well.
I must admit, when we had the standard definition chroma key unit, I stole it and took it to my wife runs local brownies.
Right.
I took it there with a big screen and some different background footage, and they just loved watching themselves in various scenarios, in jungles and deserts, and so it's
great. And I think the other thing is, Richard, is that because it's a live keyer, you don't have to start recording somebody with a green background and then go and introduce it to your edit system. You can actually do it live.
And you can see what it looks like, you can match the lighting.
Absolutely. You can also obviously record the output from it, but it means that you can do everything instantly.
Right. Yeah. What else have we got?
Another interesting product is called the CG200. It's a graphics generation software package, but it also comes with a small box called the TC200. Now, the CG200 software enables you to do titling and rolling scripts on a laptop, which makes it a lot easier than carrying around a PC. And you can come out from the HDMI output from the laptop, either directly to a vision mixer that's got a downstream key, or through to the TC200, and the live keying is done in there. And so it's, for a mobile
I wish they'd give their things some slightly better names than CG and TC and all. It does get a little confusing.
Well, I think if you just take it as the CG Computer Graphics 200, that makes it simpler.
Computer Graphics, so CG, of course, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I saw this unit, it's got a fill and key output, so it takes HDMI from the laptop.
That's right.
And then it gives you two BNCs for HD, SDI fill and key, so it goes into most vision
It's got a lot, and again, the price, talking around about £470, something like that.
Would you use something like that?
I don't tend to do much live stuff these days. Most of mine's post-production. That's exactly what I said to Nigel yesterday when I interviewed him. You know, where do you see this? And he said, well, basically for live events. And of course you forget there is still an awful lot of live events going on. In fact, there's probably more live events now because of all the technology than there was even 5-10 years ago. Yeah. So you forget about that. You're in your own wee world and you forget that. And it's nice that people like Datavision are still
data video in this
data
case.
video or data video.
Oh, we do Datavision as
well. I was actually trying to make a plug for both of you. It's nice that you're still thinking about the guys that are doing live events, because I think they've been left a wee bit in because all these NLEs can do everything in post these days. We forget that there's still a big live event field out there.
Right. So what else from data video? So that's the...
Well, there's a nice little new box which is called the DAC or DAC70, which is an up-down cross converter, and it's SDI, HD-SDI, 3G, but also take VGA and convert that to HDMI or HD-SDI.
So sort of mixing the old and the new.
That's right. So I think over the years, data video have obviously produced converters, vision mixers, the mobile studios, and display products and things like hard drive recorders. But every now and again they come up with something that's a bit more of a bit of glue that will bond things together. And I think the products that we've spoken about just the last few minutes, they're nice bits of glue, as it were, to put things together.
I saw that they've updated their DAC converter, the SDI to HDMI and HDMI to SDI. With a rather nice little slide-on battery plate.
That's right. We realised that in the field, you don't want to have too many cables around, and rather than have to find a source of power for for say an HDMI to SDI converter from a sort of a handheld type camera, by adding this adapter on, we can use, or the client can use, any type of battery, camcorder battery from JVC, Sony, Panasonic, with the right adapter, and it just comes from there, plugs into the side, and you've got a fully battery operated unit. So it makes it a lot less cluttered at the tripod end.
I must say, I asked you if you could bring any with you, but unfortunately they were all wired into the stand.
They were, unfortunately, yeah.
So I'm sorry, otherwise we would be able to go through them in more depth.
Yes.
There's a distribution amplifier as well, I believe.
There's a distribution
amp. Bloom.
Yeah, that's called the VP597. I'm trying to remember all these new numbers. VP is great.
Very practical.
Previously we've had a VP445, which has been one HDSDI signal input and 4 out for distributing to either recorders or various display devices. But the 597, it's got actually 2 HDSDI inputs and 6 outputs.
Right.
So you can send any one signal to 6 display areas. You can purely switch between the two, but it's not for a switcher type application.
Right, so
it just gives you the ability to be able to split it and send either one or the other out to 6 places. There is a bit of a glitch at the switch.
My question is, how do you remember all those part numbers?
Yes.
I've been rehearsing them.
Thank goodness for that. I'm glad one of us can. I have enough trouble. I remember the old days when I used to go and hire equipment, as a cameraman, and I'd turn up there, and if you got one thing wrong, they'd take the mick so much. It's, I want a Sony 637, or I'd say a 636. Oh, don't you mean a 637? Hi, you don't know what you're talking about. And that shame of not knowing one of the numbers.
It's really funny sometimes where you can remember a small item model number from years ago because it gave you so much trouble if you didn't have just that one bit, and it would cause all sorts of different problems.
Anything else that's been particularly interesting on the data video?
Well, there's a nice new monitor coming along which is called the TLM170p, and it's a full 1080 50p display panel, and I've been involved in selling monitors for many years, both in the video and in the graphics industry. And I must say that this TLM170p is a really nice looking screen, and again it's going to come in at a competitive price. And I think watch this space because this is going to fly out off the shelf.
17-inch screen.
It's a 17-inch screen, and it's beautiful for editing suites and displays. Absolutely brilliant.
And there's what we've referred to on the stand as well, the OB Van Kenobi. On the data videos.
That's right.
The big blue Merc van.
Oh, the big blue Merc, yeah. So anyone watching, if you're in the UK, watch out for last week in November, first week in December this year, and I'll be driving it all around the UK, displaying all the data video products.
Oh, right.
It's going to be quite some fun, left-hand drive. Wait for us. But come along, folks. Look out on the Holden website, and we'll have the dates and locations there.
And the last sort of thing which I have seen it before, but the HS 2800. It's is the flight case mixer, which is it looks rather belt and braces compared with something like a touchscreen Anycast, but I think it's a rather nice box because you can flip open the lid, plug in how many cameras?
Well, it comes as standard with 8 camera inputs, but it's expandable up to 12.
Right.
And you can use it for either SDI or HDSDI. You can't mix and match. Well, you can if you use external converters, of course.
Right.
But it's really a choice of either you use it SDI or HDSDI. And as you say, the multi-view screen is inside the lid, so you literally get to your location, open it up, plug the power in, plug your cameras in, and you're up and running straight away. It's marvellous.
Live in seconds.
It's live in seconds, and it comes with talkback, tally. So it's a complete studio in a box. It's absolutely marvellous.
Oh, that sounds really interesting. So that's all on the data video stand.
That's all on the data video stand. Yeah.
I think that's the end of our wrap up, and this is my last show. I'm actually dashing off to the airport as soon as we finish here. I hope the limousine is waiting with its engine running outside. Thanks very much for anybody who's stuck with me the last 3 days. I've really enjoyed doing this, and it's definitely going to my head, as my wife said. So thanks for watching, and possibly see you next year if they ever let me get in front of the camera again. Thanks.